Good morning, everyone. In software architecture, today we are going to learn about architectures for the cloud. We know what is the architecture, right? In the previous classes, we learned about the architectures. How it is going to be for the cloud? Cloud is a different types of computing system which is having different types of servers and the services which can be used by all the different types of users in a network, right? Okay. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the definitions, service models, and deployment models, economic justification, and these kinds of topics. Today, we are going to learn only these three topics, right? First one is the basics, basic cloud definitions. What is the meaning of cloud? Okay, so cloud is nothing but the resource. Okay, different types of resources are available. So a resource consumer can unilaterally, which means singly, okay, provision the computing services such as server time, network storage, and needed automatically without requiring human interaction with each service provider, which is telling about a consumer can use the services and the server time on a particular network, and they can run it automatically without any human interaction. That means there is no person to switch on the server, there is no person to provide the services, right? So it will be available in the network, each one can make use of it, right? That is the first definition. Second definition is telling about ubiquitous network access. What is this ubiquitous? Which is telling about global. Okay, so these cloud services and the resources which are available all over the network, and it can be accessed through the standard networking mechanisms which can promote by a heterogeneous collection of clients, right? Next one is the resource pooling, which is telling about lot of resources, computing resources are combined together in a single place. Next one is the location independence. It is telling about location of the resources need not concern about consumer of the resources. Next one is the rapid elasticity, which is telling about rapidly elastically provisioned. Next one is the measured service, which can be monitored and controlled. It can be reported so that consumers of the services are built only for what they have used. Multi-tenancy, which is telling about applications the resources can be shared among multiple consumers which are not aware of each other. Okay, so different types of services are available in this cloud. There are three different types of services. They are, first one is the SaaS, which is telling about software as a service. Next one is telling about platform as a service. And the third one is about infrastructure as a service. For example, software as a service, we are using Gmail, and also we are using the Facebook software. Okay, which is provided as a software. You can make use of it freely, right? Next one is the platform as a service, whereas Google Engine, Force.com, and Windows Azure can be used as a platform. Okay, where it will have all the different types of operating systems and everything where you can make use of it, right? Next one is the infrastructure as a service, which is telling about different types of environments are there. If you would like to make use of the web services or a software or something else, you can make use of it by using this infrastructure as a service. So these are the explanations. So software as a service, here the consumer is the end user. So the consumer uses the application and he will say what is going to happen, right? So email services or the data storage services are the example. Here in the platform as a service, the consumer in this case is a developer or a system administrator. Here he deploys applications on the cloud infrastructure using the programming languages and the tools supported by the provider. Next one is the infrastructure as a service. Here the consumer and the developer as the system administrator, they will have the ability of using the storage, networks, and the process. Right? Here there are many types of softwares are available with a operating system and the applications. Next one is the deployment models. So the deployment models are divided into four different categories: public, private, community and hybrid. So first one is the private cloud. So the cloud is infrastructure is owned only by the single organization which cannot be used by other peoples. Example: OpenStack, Microsoft Azure Stack, WinWare Cloud Suite, Amazon AWS Outsource. Next one is the public cloud. So here the cloud infrastructure is made available to the general public people, the large industry group which is owned by the organization, and it can be sold when selling by the cloud services. Example: Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, Alibaba Cloud. Next one is the community cloud. So the cloud infrastructure is shared by the several organizations and it can support a specific community which has a shared concerns, right? So next one is the hybrid cloud. It is telling about the infrastructure is a composition of two or more clouds which can remain unique entities. Next one is the economic justification, which is telling about what is the scale of the economy, how the equipments of the utilization will be. Next, the multi-tenancy. First, we are going to learn about the economics of scale. So, large data centers are cheaper to operate. Okay, there will be lot of data are available which are very cheap to operate. Okay, large in this context means 10,000 server, 10,000 plus 1 lakh servers, and small in context means less than 10,000 servers. Next, what are the different types of reasons for economies of scale? Which is telling about the first one is the cost of power. Based on the cost of the electricity to operate on a particular data, 15 to 20% of the total cost will be on the operation. Next, for a particular server, the cost of the power is lower in the large data centers. And when it is shared among multiple users such as racks and switches, it can also be considered. And the prices will also be negotiated. Large power users can negotiate significant discounts. Next, geographic distance. Based on the large data centers which are located, powers are the lowest. Acquisition of cheaper power sources as wind and farm and rooftop solar energy. And infrastructure labor cost, more efficient utilization of system administrators. Small data center administrator service shall have 150 servers, which the large data center administrator service greater than 1000 servers. Other than that, there are some other reasons which are economies of scale. First one is the security and reliability. Security and reliability is telling about the levels of maintaining the security and the redundancy, and disasters recovery essentially requires for a fixed level of investment. Large data centers can amortize that investment over their larger number of servers. Hardware cost. Operators of large data centers can also get discounts on hardware purchase up to 30% of smaller buyers. Okay, so these are the other different reasons of the economies of scale. So today, what we learned so far, we learned about the different types of cloud definitions and the basic service models and the deployment models. What are the basic service models? SAS, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. What are the different deployment models? Private, public, community, hybrid. Other than that, what we studied? Economic justification. And we learnt about this economies of scale alone. We'll study the utilization of equipment and the multi-tenancy in the remaining classes. Thank you.